All right, guys, get ready to get angry because this interview about Canadian immigration and what the Liberals are trying to do is so ridiculous. I'm just going to have to pause this a couple times, but you won't believe it. I'm going to jump right into it, but you really need to see this. They get an immigration lawyer on this who thinks the Liberals are now being too soft on this whole thing, this fake refugee bogus stuff. But anyway, let's just watch this. It's unbelievable.
Immigration experts sounding the alarm over how Ottawa's retooled border bill could change how Canada welcomes newcomers.
Then we felt that essentially putting forward a second bill that carves out the more contentious elements of Bill C2 will enable us to get swifter passage of the bill.
Okay, so that is the Public Safety Minister introducing Bill C-12 in the House of Commons last week. The bill does not include new powers for law enforcement that civil liberties groups objected to, but it does include controversial changes to Canada's immigration system. So for more on the concerns, we're joined again in studio by Chantal Desloges. She's an immigration and refugee lawyer at the Canadian Immigration Lawyers Association. Good to have you back.
Thank you.
So the contention around this bill was around, this conflict between civil liberties and, people who are concerned with newcomers' rights. The civil liberties portion has been appeased. This looks like it's going to pass. It will allow Cabinet to cancel several immigration documents if the government believes it is, quote, in the public interest to do so. What does that mean?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, when the government says the only criterion is that it's in the public interest, every lawyer knows that that's code for whatever the government wants it to mean at that time. And I think, honestly, every Canadian should be concerned about this bill, even if they think...
Look at her for 1 second. So she's a Canadian Immigration Lawyers Association. So they make their money from all of these claims, refugee claims, helping everybody in. So it doesn't matter if it's costing the taxpayer zillions, it's going right to them. I mean, it's kind of like having someone from the tobacco industry on talking about, oh, you shouldn't ban smoking in planes because it's like, for smokers' rights. And it forgets the fact that, yeah, but people don't want to be smelling that, in a stuffed plane, right? But anyway, so let's just think of the backdrop here. And she thinks the Liberals are too weak on this, but there are hundreds of thousands of these claims, many of them bogus, and it takes years to get through. And she's basically saying that the Canadian people should just pay for this, the taxpayer, no matter what, pay her association to go case by case, claim after claim, no matter how many people come in. But anyway, here she goes.
That immigration doesn't impact their life directly, because this untrammeled discretion that they're trying to give themselves with no checks and balances whatsoever to cancel entire categories of not only applications of people who've applied in good faith and are complying with the rules, but even people who have already been issued permits. They can be canceled retroactively under this new law, even if people qualified under the law. So this has nothing to do with illegal immigrants, and in fact, has nothing to do with border security, which they're kind of giving it this title of border security. It's nothing to do with that.
The Trudeau government was criticized for increasing the immigration allowance into this country. They admitted.
Well, if you attracted less, if you were less of a magnet for people coming in and claiming fake refugee status, that would help with border security if you were attracting less of that, wouldn't it?
And in their own words, that they had made a mistake. They changed the numbers. They changed the requirements. Is this trying to fix a problem that they feel like they created?
Yes, that's 100% what it is, in my view. They realized that there were way too many people let in way too short of a time, and now they're trying to furiously backpedal. But the problem is they're now trying to take procedural rights away from people who...
But they have to backpedal. I mean, she's right about that. They are backpedaling and they are trying to cover their mistake, and they should go even further than this. They should go with the Conservatives' idea because it's just way too ridiculous. But they messed it up. They let too many people in, like she said. So you just have to backpedal. I mean, what else are you going to do?
who are fully in compliance with the law. This is not the fault of applicants. This is them trying to backtrack and fix a mistake that was made. But I feel like they're making another mistake again. They're adding insult to injury.
One of the reasons it's important to have these conversations, there's a narrative out there right now that, immigration was bad for Canada. It's taking things away from people who are in this country. And it's hard to get people to care about immigration if either you're not an immigrant or it doesn't affect you directly. But you're saying every Canadian should be concerned for a number of reasons. This bill would ban refugees from Immigration and Refugee Board hearings if they don't apply for asylum within a year of entering Canada.
I mean, think about thousands, tens of thousands of fake refugees. Some of them are real, obviously, but there's so many fake ones. Everybody acknowledges that. Getting over $200 per day in the hotels, vision care, dental care, putting off if they get denied their status, you can appeal it. That takes another few years. And acting like, oh, that doesn't really affect anybody, or they're taking things away. I don't blame the immigrants. I agree with them. You got to blame the system. But obviously that is taking things away because we are giving that type of thing away.
Does that change the process of seeking asylum in Canada? And is that not a good thing?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely not a good thing because the way it's worded is it's within 1 year of the first entry to Canada. Let me give you an example to illustrate. So the war in Ukraine broke out, I guess, February 2022. Okay, suppose I was a Ukrainian citizen who visited Canada 10 years ago before the war started. And I visited Canada, I went to see Niagara Falls, and then I went home again. Why should that then bar me in February 2022 from making a refugee claim now that the situation has completely changed? I mean, what does my entry to Canada more than a year ago have to do with what's going on in my country of origin right now? It's completely arbitrary.
Well, you have to make it somewhat arbitrary when you're dealing with hundreds of thousands or millions of people. And I think her example, she picks the one as if that's the standard case. A refugee claimant from a war zone like Ukraine who visited Niagara Falls 10 years ago. That's not the majority at all. So, and in that case, it's not like they're going to deny that person refugee status. It's just, she's pointing out some weakness in it, but there's always going to be some weakness in it when you're dealing with like an at scale thing. Honestly, I think it should go stronger, but this is just the type of pushback they get, which is what I wanted to show. Even if you make a weak one, they're still saying, oh, that's crazy.
Data from Immigration, Refugee and Citizenship Canada shows that the extent of the backlog, we've done lots of stories. This story has made headlines before. This is the backlog of the permanent resident application system. And the wait time for PR under Canada's, quote, humanitarian and compassionate stream ranges from 1 to 50 years. Some experts are warning this.
It's funny to say that with a straight face. The wait time is up to 50 years.
The government could use this bill and its new powers to cancel applications to clear up this backlog. Is that a real concern?
That is a real concern because if you read the law the way it's written now, nothing would stop them from actually doing that. And, yesterday I saw that the government had issued a statement saying, oh, look, we're not going to be unreasonable. Obviously, we're going to, have reasons for doing it, and we'll, it's not going to be an untrammeled discretion. But in fact, in the law, that's exactly what it is. They're giving themselves that broad discretion. And I don't think, especially in today's environment, I think we can see what's happening in the world. It's important that the law has safeguards on it to avoid it being abused in the future.
All right, Chantal, that is all the time that we have now, but lots more to discuss as this moves forward.
Hey, Chantal, just a quick question for you. So 200,000 people, a backlog. Do you think that all of them should get taxpayer funded, use your legal services the whole way through? Each one gets that. And then if it fails, they get to appeal, use your services again. And we all chip in to pay for that for as many people as feels like trying to get that. Is that, I guess, what you're saying? Because I didn't hear one peep about the taxpayer. I didn't hear one peep about anything pragmatic or saving money. You just talked about, that one example, like the hypothetical you made up about the Ukrainian refugee. But I guess when you're making money from it, it's hard to see how everybody else is losing money from it. So something to think about there. I hope next time you address the whole practical aspect and the wasting money aspect and the fraud aspect. So anyway, just my advice there. Hope you enjoy this. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.